Hey, it's Lowery Smith of the CommanderSmiths here with Switcheroo. Kelsien the Plague is who I'm going to be working with tonight. Uh, Basically going to be going through the deck. I'll talk about it a little bit. Right now, it's kind of into the blueprint, ramp, removal, stuff like that. And then I have a fat stack of cards. I want to see if I can work into it. Definitely not going to get everything in there at all. Mr. Dempsey, I'm not late. A wizard is always just in time. And wow, that was nerdy. um so I was organizing just a wee bit and so gonna try and go through the deck. I haven't switched cards in and out for a long time, so I don't know. I thought when I was pulling cards, I thought I had a oh, hey hockey. The I thought it was more like treasure themed, and it's just not. There's some big hitters like Dockside and Smothering Tithe in here, but I don't have the theme that I thought I had going in there. I think I really simplified because I went pretty fat with, some of the things that you'll see in the future here. First I'm gonna go through the land. Oh wait, okay. I should probably I'll plug us a little bit. CommanderSmiths are a podcast that's released every Wednesday. We do a couple of games. We do an argument between two cool cards, and then we have a main segment that we discuss, anything about Magic that we want to. We're not, we try and do our deck stuff here on YouTube, and we do little shorts on YouTube, and Adam goes Proxy Time live on Sundays if you want to check out Proxies, um, and stuff like that. We're in the middle of a giveaway, so if you want to follow us on Twitter, you can. You If you like what you see or what's going on, just let us know, and we'll keep on going. Okay, back onto Kelsien. First off, I'm gonna go through lands. I haven't done that in a while, but I like my lands in here. They're ugly, but they're beautiful at the same time. I don't think a lot of people play with them. But the basics, these are the original unglued, I believe it was. But they're cool, huge ass brown borders. Um, I think they look pretty cool. So going through just a quick bit of it and see if there's anything specific to the deck, I'll talk about it. The drawing is pretty lacking, and so I have some of these cycle lands and stuff like that. I personally like the scry lands. I know not everybody does, and that's okay. Alto the Archangel is great for giving Death Touch and Lifelink. That works here. Kelsien being able to give him Death Touch will be able to kill any creature there is. Yes, it is an argument that we do about cards, and I normally lose. So if you want to hear ridiculousness, that is what you want to check out. Forbidden Orchard uh, gets you any color of mana, but it also gives your opponents a creature, one of them, your choice, and then you can easily kill that with Kelsien. Get experience counters on there. Anything else? Cryptic Caves, that's a personal favorite, but I think it's probably going to go. But I'm not going to mess with the land base here. Arcane Lighthouse and Desolate Lighthouse are very important to be able to get through those protected creatures. Um, and that might be it. Boom. That's it. Otherwise, it's fixing and fetching. All right, let's read Kelsien the Plague. It is red, white, black, human assassin, vigilance, haste, 2/2. When Kelsien the Plague gets +1/+1 for each experience counter you have. And then you can tap it. Kelsien deals 1 damage to target creature you don't control. When that creature dies this turn, you get an experience counter. So that's why Death Touch is pretty important, because then you're able to just kind of kill anything and everything that you possibly can. And that's kind of what you're going for. There's a couple of little tricks in here we'll talk about, because technically it's not all about that, but experience counters can't be messed with. They don't go away. They're pretty cool. So that's a neat little bit there. Let's go through the deck first, and then we'll talk about some of the cards that I want to try and fit in. Um, Let's go with ramp package. I don't think there's anything super special. Mind Stone, Goldspan Dragon. We do play with proxies. We own all of the cards that we have. This is one of the proxies that Adam has made. It looks awesome. We do these in foils as well. We give them away to patrons. So you can always check out our Patreon, stuff like that. Arcane Signet, Mana Crypt, Crucible of Worlds, which is one that I think I'm going to get rid of already. But Soul Ring, Solum, Simulacrum, Smothering Tithe, Dockside Extortionist, another proxy Adam has done, and Revel in Riches, which is another one I'll probably get rid of. It's a bit expensive. And that treasure theme kind of went away from when I was looking through it and kind of doing it. Card advantage section, which not everybody's going to agree with here. Land tax. Um, this is a card advantage card, not a ramp card. It's that's the big thing to take away from that. So land tax is card advantage, especially with scroll rack. You put 3 in your hand, you can bin more cards, look deeper. It's a great little connection there. Treasure map is probably going to get cut. There's a leftover from probably the treasure idea, and it scries, but I think I just want a little bit more card advantage. Stoneforge Mystic. This is not an Atom proxy, but it's a great card to go and search for equipment that you need. There is an assortment in here. There is, Death Touch. There's untappers. There's taking away protection, stuff like that. All right, Hockey's saying that land tax is not a good card. He is quoting me because I said that in the argument. And sometimes when you're in an argument, you don't say everything you mean. You don't mean it all the time. You're just trying to hurt people at that point. So if that's how you argue, then you totally understand. So, but I generally don't play tutors. This is the only tutor in the deck. And I was debating on cutting it or not, but I think it is important enough to make it kind of go. So, Tectonic Reformation, another card that works with land tax and just being able to cycle those lands away. It's pretty sweet there. Humble Defector taps. This will draw you cards, and then you give it to an opponent. You kill it with Kelsien, you get an experience counter. It's pretty sweet. Sancha. Oh, another thing I should point out, there is a slight theme of giving people creatures, however it is. Xancha was part of this. You get to draw off of it and they lose 2 life. You can kind of burn people out a little bit that way, but I think it's just not going to work in this deck. So we will probably cut this one in the future. Phyrexian Arena is just consistent. Plarg is there for the discard to draw a card for the most part, but there's a little bit of like free casting and the back part. I don't care about the bonuses, but whenever you attack, untap each creature you control, then tap any number of creatures you control. So you can kind of mess with tapping and untapping and stuff like that. If you need, but just being able to discard some of those extra land from land tax, it's workable. You got Sensei's Top and Toma Legends. It's great in this deck because basically that is you get a page counter, and then whenever it attacks or comes into play, it has haste. So you get 2 page counters when Kelsien comes into play, basically, and then you're drawing cards off of it for a while. Um, let's see here. Removal package. I don't We'll see. Heliod's intervention is very flexible, gains you life if you need to, but destroying artifacts and enchantments are pretty good. But Devil is just singular, but it can hit a lot of things. Artifacts, creatures, or planeswalkers. We'll see about that one. Ruinous Ultimatum is a fantastic removal card. Destroy all non-land permanents your opponents control. It's heavy, but it's good. Culligan's Command. This is a great card. This is probably mostly going to be dealing all of these are relevant. All of them. It's either return a creature from your graveyard to your hand, target player discards a card, destroy target artifact, or 2 damage to a creature or player. So they're all very relevant. Mortify, that is destroy a creature or an enchantment because it's white. Crush Contraband is exiling an artifact and or an enchantment. So it's a pretty cool card. Archfiend of Depravity. At the beginning of each opponent's end step, that player chooses up to 2 creatures he or she controls, then sacrifices the rest. That's to just kind of control things so it doesn't get too out of hand for Kelsien. but I think this is something that we will be um probably trying to get rid of because I just want more creatures to kill with Kelsien. Chaos Warp is classic. I Archeo Dempsey's asking if I'm running Archaeomancer's map. I believe it's in this stack. When I built the deck, it was not a real card yet, and I have not worked it in to this deck or any deck at this point. So hopefully it'll work. I'm not drinking any beer. I spilled my beer last week on the podcast, and I do not drink other than during the podcast because I need to sound ridiculous by the end of the podcast. Going with protection, Gift of Doom is fantastic. Gives Death Touch and Indestructible. You can sacrifice any assortment of tokens that you get. Selfless Glyph Weaver. This was to give Indestructible, and then the flip side is you can choose one creature, it survives and destroy everything else. Um, I think this is just kind of a slow card. I don't think it's going to work. Reconnaissance is a pretty sweet card. I highly suggest this one because what it is you can attack with Kelsien, tap it to deal the damage, and then if it's blocked or whatever, if it's not blocked, you can deal the damage, and then there's a cleanup combat step, and you can still untap it to be able to block or ping again. There's a lot of steps within the combat step, so it's a really cool card. I highly suggest picking it up, even though it's on a spike right now. So good luck with that. Um, Only because you didn't wreck anything. Yeah, yeah. If I would have wrecked my computer, that would have been terrible with the spelt beer and everything. We do have a short on me spilling the beer, so if you want to go check that out, that's perfectly fine. Semi Elder's pretty sweet because you can tap it. Creatures you control gain protection from the colors of target permanent you control until end of turn. Generally, you're targeting Kelsien, and then all your creatures gain protection from red, white, and black. It's going to make it tough to get that damage removal. It's going to be um, hard to kill it or block it. And then regular Swiftfoot. Let's go with the Death Touch enablers. Space Godzilla. So this is Void Beckoner, but you can cycle it and then you put a um, death death touch counter on a creature, which would be Kelsien, and you're drawing a card. That's kind of nice. Gorgon's Head, Death Touch for the equipment. Um, Touch of Moonglove is target creature gets Death Touch, and whenever a creature dealt damage by this creature, Kelsien, dies this turn, its controller loses 2 life. So I tried to do a little bit of a mini theme of when opponent's creatures dies, they lose life. That's kind of the aim. Zagros is here to give everything Death Touch. Ankle Shanker, when it attacks, all your creatures get first strike and Death Touch, so that works for Kelsien quite nicely. Blade Brand gives target creature Death Touch and you draw a card. You're kind of desperate for cards in this, so this kind of works. And Basilisk Collar, Death Touch, Lifelink. What more would you want? Other than maybe Shadow Spear. All right, so some extra pingers in the deck. Scalding Salamander, which is pretty sweet. When it attacks, you can pay 0, and it deals 1 damage to each creature without flying defender player controls. And then if it has Death Touch, it kills all of those creatures. Pretty sweet. Olivia Valderan, you can pay 2 to ping a creature of your choice. If it has Death Touch, it's going to die. And so that's kind of a nice thing. Inferno Titan attacks, deals 3 damage divided any way you choose. If it has Death Touch, it's killing 3 creatures. Goblin Sharpshooter, it taps to deal 1 damage, and if a creature dies, it untaps. So with Death Touch, it just kind of machine guns everything. And then Deathbringer Thopter, again, if this has Death Touch, whenever an opponent's creature or whenever a creature dies, you put a 1/1 counter on it. You can remove it to deal 1 damage. If it has Death Touch, you can just do that to all the creatures. Pretty sweet that way. That small little bitty Dingus Staff is whenever a creature dies, that player takes 2 damage. So that includes me. The Massacre Worm, when it comes into play, that's -2/-2 to all creatures. Whenever a creature an opponent controller dies, they lose 2 life. So kind of on theme a bit there. Um, Look at that. I am see ads. I don't know that Adam's Basilisk card. Staple cards, but all right. So staple verses. They're saying that I don't. Basilisk Caller was mine. Shadow Spear was his. Come on. I pull the ideas from my decks. So Shadow Spear is here so that it can take away hexproof and indestructible, so the pinging works. Thornbite Staff is pretty sweet. This is just the random pile, but whenever a creature dies, this creature, whatever it's equipped to, would on tap. So Kelsien, Death Touch, Thornbite Staff, kill everything. Kalem, Disciple of Iroas. This is an oddity, probably going to go, but whenever you cast a creature spell with converted mana cost 5 or greater, which there's not a lot, you get an experience counter. See, there's that experience counter that's coming up. And then it gets +1/+1 for each experience counter you have. It's double strike vigilance. So it could be, comes down later in the game and it's an 8/8 double strike vigilance. It'd be cool, but it's not really going to do much. Daxos also deals with experience counters. Whenever you cast an enchantment, you got a few in here. You get an experience counter, and then you can pay the 3, and then you create a creature. So as big as your experience counters, that could be kind of cool. Strionic Resonator is also pretty awesome in here. So you don't actually want to the experience counter is creation is a trigger. So when you have Kelsien activated, it's killing a creature. You can copy the experience counter trigger. And so you get 2 for the price of 1. Kind of cool there. A little bit of graveyard shenanigans is going to be Toshiro Umezawa. So you get to replay some of your instants and sorceries and removal and stuff like that. It's pretty sweet in that regard. Phyrexian Reclamation. It's an oldie but a goodie. Getting your creatures back value, or just Kelsien's a lot easier to cast that way because he is a bit of a target. People like playing with their stuff. Sun Titan, again, kind of there to bring Kelsien back if needed. And also any of the equipment. It's a great card. There's a reason why everybody plays the fucking card. Oh, yeah. I'll swear every once in a while. All right. And this is a little bit of giving stuff to people. All right. Rite of Raging Storm. It's giving each person gets a 5/1 that's going to get sacked. They can't attack you if this is in play. You can easily kill it at the end of that turn. It's pretty sweet. All right. Genesis Chamber. This one's probably not going to make it. What this does is it makes a 1/1 whenever anybody casts a creature spell. And so you can easily kill it with Kelsien, but you're not really controlling it. So we'll see if we can get rid of that. Clack and Bridge Troll. This is a pretty cool one. You give them 3/01 goats. It's a huge creature, might gain you life and draw you cards. Works really well in here. Farchild, Betrayer of Keldor. Whenever it deals damage, you're giving them 1/1s. If this dies, you get those 1/1s. If not, you're probably going to be able to kill them off pretty easy. And Varchild's War Riders. Rampage 1, Trample, Cumulative Upkeep. And then you're giving them survivor tokens, kind of similar to Varchild, Betrayer of Keldor. But it can just get bigger and bigger. 2 mana, 3/4, Trample. And those creatures can never kill this because of the Rampage 1. So it gets +1/+1 for each creature blocking beyond the first. So it's a cool card. Fits in here pretty well. All right, that is the deck at this point. And so the thing that I have noticed is I just kind of run out of gas, and I definitely don't have anything that's going to go over the top. And that part's okay. I don't do that a lot. I like grindy games personally, which isn't always nice to everybody. But we're going to probably try and get more ramp, more stuff in there. All right. Moving on to cards that could fit in here, could work. Extus, whenever you cast a spell, you get to bring a non-legendary creature from your graveyard to your hand. The backside is kind of cool as well. I don't know. I was thinking maybe I could replace the Sun Titan with that. Still might, but it's kind of in that realm. Mask of Grizzlebrand. All right, with so many Death Touch givers, a card like Goblin Sharpshooter might be a good include. No, it's definitely in here. Goblin Sharpshooter. For sure. It is probably the reason why I built this deck because I like that effect. I've wanted to build a deck with it forever. This deck's like 2-3 years old whenever it came out, at Korea time. Mask Grizzlebrand, flying lifelink. Kelsien gets flying lifelink, vigilance haste. There's a lot going on there. And then if it dies, you can pay X life and draw that much cards. It's potentially good. It's kind of expensive, but I'm okay with it. We can add that into the draw cards. Quiet as Spike. This would end games a lot quicker. It gives Death Touch, and then it starts. They lose half their life. So I'm going to try and work that in. Vorpal Sword is Death Touch, and then potentially ending the game for that player if you deal damage to them. Drum Bellower is an untapper, so you can untap Kelsien each opponent's turn. All right, I like that in the randoms. Yeah, I totally agree. Haunted Library. So this is one thing. Little. Oh no. Okay. Whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, I may pay 1 and create a 1/1 spirit token creature. This could be cool. It's kind of like a different direction. Gissa, Glorious Resurrector. This one, whenever you kill one of their creatures, it's exiled and then comes into play with decay under your control. So you're kind of stealing them there. This one seems bonkers. Endless Whispers. I'll read the whole thing here. Each creature has, when this creature is put into a graveyard from play, that player puts this creature card from that graveyard into play under his or her control, or from play, choose target opponent. Okay, that's the point. So if a creature dies, choose an opponent. That player puts this creature card from that graveyard into play under his or her control until end of turn. Now I know that I want Kelsien to kill a bunch of creatures, and this technically kills them, and then they come back, and then you could keep on doing it. Boom, 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 boom. And if I have like a Massacre Worm out, I just win the game, right? Or Kelsien just gets huge and starts. I don't know. You can't really one shot because nobody's creatures can die until they maybe give them to you, but you can make Kelsien huge. It seems like a really fun card. I don't know if it's going to work, but we might do something with that. Kalidas is exiling creatures. You get 2/2s, so that's at like gaining an army a bit. Vicious Shadows. This is going to be tomorrow's curated, but it's whenever a creature dies, you can target a player and they take damage for as many cards as they have in their hand. It's a little expensive at 7. Normally I go off and kill everybody's creatures a lot faster than that. And I think I had this in there before, but we'll see. Tibalt's Trickery, just some protection a little bit. Deflecting Squat, again, protecting Kelsien. Nahiri's Machinations. This is at the beginning of combat on your turn. Target creature you control gains indestructible until end of turn. And that's just Kelsien being able to attack, kind of do some things. Then if anybody blocks it, you can deal damage to it. It's the indestructible part for really cheap. That's the part that I like. We'll put that in protection. All right, Radiant Performer. Flash. When Radiant Performer enters the battlefield, if you cast it from your hand, choose target spell or ability, which would be the pinging ability of Kelsien. That targets only a single permanent or player. Copy that spell or ability for each other permanent or player that spell or ability could target. Each copy targets a different one of those permanents and players. So I'm thinking Death Touch, tap, Radiant, kill everything on board, get a ton of experience, even though you even kill Kelsien. I think that could be really fun. I'm going to put that in removal. Ronin Cliff Rider. Same thing as the Salamander. So when it attacks, you can have it deal 1 damage to each creature defending player controls. It's just 5, but it hits flyers. It's kind of a cool card. Uh, Brigid, Hero of Kinsbale. This taps and deals 2 damage to each attacking or blocking creature target player controls. Doesn't have to be you or anything. Um, but it can kind of just like board wipe if it has Death Touch. Subterranean Spirit. This has protection from red, so it can't kill itself, but Subterranean Spirit deals 1 damage to each creature without flying. So that's a board wipe to non-flyers with Death Touch. I actually don't really like that because it would kill Kelsien. That's not what I want to have happen. So I'm cutting that right away. Um, Endbringer. This untaps each player's untap step. It can deal it damage. It can draw me a card. It can target creature can't attack or block this turn. I don't care about that one. But drawing the card and dealing a damage is kind of cool. It's a little expensive, but I think it's interesting enough. Slaughter Specialist. I think this one's going to be sweet. This is probably going to be replacing the mirror one. But when it enters the battlefield, each opponent creates a 1/1 white human creature. Easy for Kelsien to kill either way. Whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, put a 1/1 counter on Slaughter Specialist. So it's going to get huge as well. So I like it. Tempt with Vengeance. Anybody think that anybody's going to take this where I make a bunch of 1/1s, other people can make 1/1s, where I'm going to make more 1/1s? I don't think anybody's going to do that. So if you think so, let me know, but I'm probably just going to cut that right away. That's just an easy kill on everything. Dousing Dagger gives 2 plants +2/+1, and then it flips and it gets you 3 mana. That's kind of rampant itself, but it's also giving creatures. I kind of like it back and forth. Chandra's Ignition. Target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to each other creature. This is a fantastic card. I love this card a lot. I don't know why I didn't have this in before, because Death Touch, it'd kill everything. It just kills everything but that creature that you were targeting in the first place. So, it's kind of like Radiant Performer, probably better. Anguished Unmaking, that is an add-on proxy. This is Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones! And fantastic. It's just solid removal, probably going to replace the Mortify. Nahiri, the Harbinger. This is just some really good utility. You can discard a card to draw a card, exiles an enchantment, artifact, or a creature if it's tapped. And then the end game doesn't really matter, but those two you can go back and forth, and I feel like that can be really good. You know, it's like card selection. Generous Gift is all around removal, gives a creature that you can just kill. You are already dead. Destroy target creature that was dealt damage this turn. Draw a card. I think this would be really cool, but I was thinking about it and I probably just want, because what was it? If I'm comparing it to this one or the Space Godzilla. So these give Death Touch. So no matter what, it's going to um kill with the Death Touch. And they both draw me a card, which that does as well. It's 1 mana to 2 mana to 3 mana, but this is like guaranteed. I don't know. This kind of allows me to go off a lot better rather than you are already dead. So I'll probably just cut that in this deck. I think it's cool, but probably just not ready for this one. Just Weathered Wayfarer trying to get land. Chrome Mox. Planar Birth. Now, this one's probably going to be replacing Crucible of Worlds, but put all basic lands from all graveyards into play under their owner's control. I love it. It is White's best ramp card by far, especially when you work with it. Gadrak, the Crown Scourge. You're killing a lot of creatures. You're going to be able to get a lot of treasure tokens off of it. I think it's kind of cool. I'll put it in the ramp section, roughly. It's good blocker. Verge Rangers. That's all right. Archaeomancer's Map. I'm getting in there. Okay. What do you Dempsey's saying that he took out the temps because nobody takes it. It telegraphs your strategy. Yeah. That's kind of how I see it. I agree. So I'll probably just cut that. Archaeomancer's Map. I like it. It's going in. Monologue Tax. We'll see if that can make it in. Keeper of the Cord. I don't have a ton of creatures, and so I've been liking this deck or this card more and more, even though I know it's a fantastic card. I'm just using it more and more. Chump blockers and ramp for Sworn Paladin. This is here to basically, if I had a treasure token, you can make treasure tokens. Excuse me. Give it death touch. Um, I think we're good on the death touchers, so I'm probably gonna cut that right away. Fable of the Mirror Breaker. Makes you treasures, discard, gets you copying. I think it does enough. I don't know where to ever put this card though, because it's a little bit of ramp, it's a little bit of, like card selection, and then the copying is pretty sweet. Like that's what you want to get to, but what is it normally going to be? So I'll probably go with ramp off the bat, I guess. I don't know. Grim Hireling is going to be in the ramp. It's pretty cool. You can sacrifice treasures. It's good. Surly Badgesaur. When I'm discarding those lands, it's going to create more treasures. But this card's pretty sweet. Whenever you discard a card, put a treasure. If it are whenever you discard a creature card, put a 1/1 counter on it. If it's a land, you put a treasure into play. And then if it's a non-creature, non-land, this card fights. So it goes in that order when you Wheel of Fortune or Wheel of Misfortune. And so you're fighting kind of at the end. But it's a pretty sweet card. I like it quite a bit. Again, I don't really know where to put it. Curse of Opulence is a pretty sweet card, and we will put that in ramp. We'll put that in ramp. Sword of the Animist is great for ramp. Core Cartographer, ramp. Read the Bones, easy drawing. Doom Whisperer is an idea just to it's fair tutoring. Essentially, you're paying a ton of life, but it's also just like a really nice, huge creature. So I put that in my draw. Twilight Prophet is a draw. Dark Confidant is drawing. Ragavan, thank you, Hockey. He traded this to me last time I saw him. But this is kind of like card draw, probably more card draw than anything. Faithless Looting is a draw discard. Thrill of Possibility is draw discard. Mila, let's talk about Fae Steed as well. So basically, these are white versions of if somebody targets your stuff, you get to draw a card. And I find that interesting. I don't know if it's good enough. This one gives indestructible, and this one can be turned into a planeswalker that does some stuff, but that's not the point. The point of this is to have cards that kind of draw you cards. So I would put them in the protection spot. Investigator's Journal seems cool until I was like, oh, I'm looking to kill everybody's creatures. And so this might come down and be like bad, right? So I like it, but I don't. So it's probably not going to be in this deck. I'm just going to cut that right now. Morbid Opportunist. Whenever one or more other creatures die, draw a card. Only happens once per turn. This is going to be good in here. Audric. I think I'm going to... The thing is, it comes down and it's probably going to get me at least 2 blood counters, which allow me to kind of draw, discard. I'm probably going to cut that. Just the blood counters aren't doing enough for me. Arterial Alchemy also cut. Alms Collector gets me some drawing, but if I end up going with Wheel of Fortune, Wheel of Misfortune, then I won't have Alms Collector in there. I'm not looking to cut anybody out of the game, but I could, right? Esper Sentinel just in there. Draw, wheel. So that is where we're at. Let's see here. Let's go with the smaller stuff. Like the drawing and the ramp isn't as cool to talk about, I would say. So off the bat, we're gonna be we have all right, I should probably make a little bit of room on this mess here now. Huh? Let's get this out of the way, And we could probably I think just looking at this, I'm already just going to cut Vicious Shadows. I don't think I have the mana for that. I don't think I'm going to be able to do that. So that pile is basically done. All right. Generous Gift, Nahiri the Harbinger, Anguished Unmaking, Chandra's Ignition, and Radiant Performer. Chaos Warp, I think, is really good. I wanted to get rid of Archfiend of Depravity, and I think Radiant Performer is kind of working that same role of like it's kind of cool. It can just board wipe. It can do a lot of just like reducing the amount of cards that are on in the board. Crush Contraband might turn into an Anguished Unmaking. They're both exiling. This is more flexible. This hits more cards. This is cheaper. Um, I think that's probably the way I'll go. Mortify is going to turn into Generous Gift, I think. This just hits more, and it gives a creature that I can kill with Kelsien. Command still looks good. Ruinous still looks good. Helios still looks good. I like Chaos Warp. And so the next question is do I need another spot removal? Or should I just work Bedevil can turn into Chandra's Ignition or Nahiri? I'm not sure on that yet, but I'm willing to find out. I want to play with Radiant Performer, and I think it's pretty sweet. So, what are you guys' opinions on this? The Radiant Performer and potentially just like wrathing the board with copying Kelsien's ability everywhere? I might have to look. Maybe I won't cut that right now. Like do the switch right now. Like I'll want to look and see what else it would work with. But let's get rid of Mortify at this point, and let's get Generous Gift in there. I really like Crush Contraband, by the way. So I don't say like it's a bad card, but maybe, part of lowering the curve and just trying to speed up a little bit. Hey. And so right there, that's kind of the removal at this point. I still have those bad boys. We'll set them off to the side. All right. Do, 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 do. All right. So just looking at the Death Touchers, I was probably thinking Vorpal Sword. It's a lot more black intensive than Gorgon's Head, but it just does so much more. Like this is just they're essentially the same thing. This is just more. So we can cut Gorgon's Head and we'll put the Vorpal Sword in. Again, just giving more flexibility on what I can do. I can make it quite a spike. I am unsure. I think whenever I've played Spike, like it's very mana intensive. And so that has been problematic in different decks. Space Godzilla. Again, this is kind of expensive, but I like it when 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. I think I'm gonna be like, because I was relying on those little cantrips. I think I'll be okay. I wonder if this matters. All right. One less for each creature in your party. I don't even remember what party does. Flying, Death Touch, Haste. Other creatures you control have Death Touch. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a planeswalker, you get to destroy. 6 mana is a bit much too, right? But giving it to all creatures is pretty sweet. Ankle Shanker. I like it because it basically means that your creatures are unkillable in combat. And it fits the colors. Like I'd never play it in another deck at all. Okay. I'm fine with those at this point. Like I'll never cast it. This is for the cycling and the Death Touch. All right. Dempsey's saying that he's enjoyed Vorpal Sword. You've eliminated 2 players. So it happens. And that feels good in my mind because this deck does kind of run out and like it's not going to just it kind of kills all the creatures and then kind of stops doing stuff. So if I could do something about that, that'd be great. So um we'll set that off to the side and think about it a little bit more. Um let's see here. Just some of the random stuff. Drum Bellower, I think, is just a better upgrade than Kalem. Like just being able to untap stuff. I have enough stuff that's untapping or that pings. I think that works in here. So Kalem can go. Drum Bellower works in here pretty nicely, I think. Just another untap effect. And that works pretty well. All right. I like that. That might be cuttable. That might be cuttable. I can probably throw that over here in the potentials. I think I'd still get rid of Void Beckoner, but all right. Endless Whispers, Exodus, Toshiro, Phyrexian Reclamation, Sun Titan. I don't think I'm running enough creatures to run Exodus or even like spells. So I'm probably going to cut that. I think Exodus just doesn't, I don't think it really fits here enough. Endless Whispers seems like a really good idea. Like just being able to go off, oh, and kill somebody with that. That seems cool. If I get one vote, I'll force this in. I don't think it's going to get in this section because like these seem solid. I'm happy with that. Yeah, I'm fine with that. So like I guess I would rather take the mana and the consistency of Phyrexian Reclamation rather than Exodus bringing creatures back to hand for a spell. I mean 2/4 double strike with that. I think I still like Phyrexian Reclamation. It's a good card. Sun Titan, Toshiro, that works. So I might have to steal from somewhere else, but this is coming in. I think this is going to be really cool. All right. I think at this point I'm going to get rid of the when opponent's creatures dies like that angle. I don't think that's going to fit in here. The idea is good and that it probably goes in the place of like Massacre Worm and Dingus Staff, but I'd rather have those cuz like I'll more than likely have this strategy somewhere else to whereas like having people's creatures die is a big thing. It gives you a little bit more reach, where you're not just depending on combat, which is a good thing. This is still depending on combat to work. So I think I'm going to cut these three right off the bat. Not right off the bat, but right now. All right. Um, Going to giving. Dousing Dagger, Slaughter Specialist. Like I said, Genesis Chamber, I think just kind of goes, and I like Slaughter Specialist right now. I want to get that in there. It can get big. Even if you're not killing, I think over time it'll just get big. But in this deck, it's going to work. And so Dousing Dagger. Is there something else that I don't necessarily like? So I like that one. Barchild is hard to get through, I'll admit. So like Clacking Bridge Troll is sweet and Right is sweet. Like those three are those three are great. The question here is oh, this is Varchild's kind of hard to get through. And Varchild's War Riders can kind of gang up on you. Like if you're giving so much to a player like Kelsien can't get through, like that can be harmful. But I think I've played with Varchild enough to know that it struggles on getting through. So I think we'll keep the War Riders, and I think we'll get rid of Betrayer of Keldor. And we'll put the Dousing Dagger in. I think that can work. I think that could work. All right, let's go with look at pingers. Endbringer, Brigid Hero of Kinsbale, Ronin Cliff Rider, Ooh. Oof. All right. Inferno Titan's so awesome. It's so awesome. I think Olivia's probably odd card out. Give me a second. Whoop. Oh, okay. Let's see here. Okay, okay. So Inferno Titan, I use it a ton. Again, it's probably a better choice than Endbringer. They're the same mana. It's a little bit bigger. It can get huge, but this untapping seems cool to me, and it adds a little bit of draw. So I might think about getting rid of that. I think the Ronin goes in here that way. I like. So those will go in. I want Bridget in there as well, but it's not super necessary. But I want the Ronin in that never would get used. I want Endbringer in. Inferno Titan is one of my favorite like creatures. It's just so fun to watch people squirm when you're just like Basilisk Caller, Inferno Titan, attack, kill 3 of your creatures, gain 9 life, and you might take 6 because it's kind of like a little mini board wipe. But let's see what Endbringer can do. And Brigid, I still like it, but it might just not make it into the deck. We'll set it off to the side. All right. Let's see here. Face Steed and Milla for the draw. Nahiri's Machinations, Deflecting Swat, Tibalt's Trickery. Yeesh. All right, that's a lot. All right, Swiftfoot Boots clearly stays. Samite Elder, Selfless Gift Weaver. All right, Reconnaissance and Gift of Doom stay. I like Samite Elder because it's like a good Mother of Runes. All right, Selfless Glyph Weaver. I think we're looking at those two at this point, Deflecting Swat and Tibalt's Trickery. And I'm just trying to think of, do I want Deflecting Swat somewhere else? And I have a few Tibalt's Trickery that I'm not using either. I think Nahiri's Machinations does not. I don't think that works. I don't think that fits. When it attacks another target attacking creature you control gains indestructible until end of turn. Whenever a creature or planeswalker you control becomes the target of spell or an ability an opponent controls, you may draw a card. And this is whenever an opponent attacks one or more planeswalkers you control, put a loyalty counter on each planeswalker you control. I don't think I have any planeswalkers, so that doesn't count. Whenever a permanent you control becomes the target of a spell or ability an opponent controls, you may draw a card. That's the big thing. And then the backside, draw a discard, and then return target creature, haste, sack it, exile it, and then whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, it deals damage. I'm not sure if either of those really call to me. Like, I like them in this deck potentially. Let's see here. Anybody have any opinions? Um, let's go with Tibalt's Trickery to start. And then I still like Samite Elder. Because it allows your guys to like potentially go unblocked. They can survive a blasphemous act. generally, like, it could still stop the deflecting SWAT, it can still stop spot removal other than blue and green in this deck. I think we keep it. I don't have it anywhere else either. I think deflecting SWAT is just generally really powerful. Um, all right, we'll cut those. We won't look at those anymore. All right, getting into ramp. All right, we need this to maybe go a little bit better? Question mark. We have a lot here. Just a lot of choices. I'm not sure where or what I'm thinking here. Lots of choices, right? Let's see here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 for drawing. 2, 3, and that's a little light. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's pretty light as well. We might need to pull from other places. I must have been stealing from this. And so this is where, like, you kind of got to go a little powerful. All right, so you want to ramp it up a little bit because I got a lot of goofy shit going on a little bit. So we're going to cut Crucible of Worlds and we're going to put Plane of Birth in there because I think it's going to go really well. I'm going to get rid of Chrome Mox because I don't really have the hand stuff that can come back from it. Like, I don't want to just lose a ton of cards, if that makes sense. So I like Plane of Birth. Revel in Riches is an easy get rid of. So the question is which one do I want? I think in general, Keeper of Chord is just going to be really good in this deck right now. And then the question ends up being like, I got a bunch of goofy shit over there. Let's get rid of Revel in Riches. And then we'll go Keeper of the Accord. And that'll just be, in general, pretty good here. Definitely run the Trickery and Deflection SWAT. You can at least use them for anything that targets your commander. Yeah, I agree. I think Deflection SWAT is going to go in a lot of decks. I actually haven't put it in a lot of decks, but I just started making proxies of it. So I'm not going to use the Samite Elder in a lot of places, and I think it's sweet. I want it to kind of work. I want to see if it'll work. I know SWAT will work. And so for now, I think we're going to keep it there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right. Now here's the sad part. I'm gonna have to go through this and see if there's cards that won't make it. I think either Chandra's Ignition or Radiant Performer, one of them has to make it in the deck. And so I think I'm going to go Chandra's Ignition just. Oh man, that can really make Kelsien huge though. I might have to check on. Let's do Radiant Performer. Again, I'm probably not going to play that anywhere else. That's generally what I've been saying that a lot in this one. I don't always say that, but I do take that into consideration when I'm making cuts and adds. Like, what card am I playing a lot of versus which one does not come up a whole ton. So I don't know anywhere else that Radiant Performer would even work. And so I want to make sure that I want to play around with it, check it out. I play Chandra's Ignition all the time, so we can kind of cut that a little bit. Is there anything else that just has to go in here? Not necessarily, but maybe we add Nahiri over into the draw pile instead of removal pile. I don't think Brigid fits in here. I don't need all of the pingers either. And so, like, Kelsien's the main guy. that's doing that. Endless Whispers seems really fucking cool. All right. Curse is nice. Which what curse? What am I talking about? I'm not even sure which one you're talking about. So, uh, that is true. That's a really good point, Stephen. Chandra's Ignition can be a game winner. Like that can end games. I've done that before in Calmax and Feather. Um, and it's fantastic in there. So that's a really good point. I can still put it in the pile to fit in, like just keep it around. I want Endless Whispers. I think Quite a Spike can probably be cut. And so I need to let's lower the curve. Is that what we're gonna do? Let's lower the curve. Zagros, and then we're putting Endless Whispers in. I think Endless Whispers is gonna be like that'll be a fun one when people just start passing around creatures and just having they'll end up I'll end up having all the creatures, right? Is that what happens? All right, let's add at least one of these turns into a ramp card. Um, what is curse? Okay, that's what you're talking about, Hanley. Yeah, okay. Curse of Opulence. That is nice. I agree, and it's worked very well for me in the past. Um, I'm not going to be hitting a ton of players. I don't think not with my experience. So I can get rid of Grim Hireling. Gadrak is probably too slow. Like it just happens. It's not like a consistent thing. Um, I like Surly is probably a little bit too much work, so we can kind of get rid of that. I think Weathered Wayfarer with land tax probably isn't good enough. Like I'd rather have the map in play. I think it's map. I think map goes in. All right, Space Godzilla goes away. Map goes in. And then I'll never fall behind if that's what we're worried about. All right. And then is there anything that I just dislike here? I think Curse has a good shot. I like it. I like Verge Rangers a little bit. I haven't played with it a whole ton. Lands from the top of your library. It's really nice to kind of just like get rid of cards from the top of your library. Let's say Monologue Tax doesn't make it, especially since we're not doing the artifact theme anymore. I think this might be a little too generic and we're being a little specific. So we can get rid of Fable of the Mirror Breaker and Core Verge. All right. I don't hate any of those at this point. And so if we might try and fit like one more in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That's still not a ton, but we'll be happy there. Yeah, you're right. It does work with Goldspan. That is true. That is true. Right? And so does Smothering Tithe. Dockside. Goldspan. Goldspan's so sweet. Such a cool card. I don't know if it's worth like 40, 50 bucks, but it's a dang cool card. I don't really have any way. Well, a few things that can target it, but not a lot. It's all about that attacking. Let's see here. So, okay, thinking about Endless Whispers again. So if they kill my creatures, then it has to go under an opponent's. So this is like play it and kill everybody's creatures, and then they need to decide what's happening, but I don't really have any way to get rid of it. This is a liability, isn't it? Right? God, it seems like a really cool card. Each creature has. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think I think that goes on the chopping block too. We'll get. I think it's cool. I think it'd be really fun, but I'm really low on draw and ramp, and I can't play around with like fun cards. I got to be a little practical about this kind of stuff. I think Xancha goes away. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Treasure map is sweet. Actually, it's a really good point too, because I in some play testing, it's sacrifice a treasure, draw a card. That is a pretty sweet little deal there too. Uh, you think so? You think what's fun, Hanley? Are you talking about monologue tax? I think that actually stays. I think that stays. There is a little bit of a treasure theme. All right. You guys think monologue tax makes it? All right. Fine. Fine. We'll put that in there. Monologue tax. Let's see here. Oop. That's ramp card. So right now we're at what? 12? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's making me not feel so bad. Okay. This is scrying, draw. Tectonic Reformation, I think, works in this deck, even though we're kind of like a treasure land tax style deck. It's a little weird. Um, Stoneforge, land tax, scroll rack, and maybe that part just doesn't matter at this point. Like I can cut. I can cut these three things for like real cards. All right. All right. Oh, whoa. The black card that brings back creatures. One of the best games I ever had was Esper Grip of Chaos. No, I do not think monologues. You think Manal? Are you sure? Are you sure? It's all right. We'll go back. I wish Curse of Opulence made treasures rather than gold. Gold, but that might still be. All right. All right. I'm fine with monologue tax right now. I'm fine with it. I need to think of if I want to cut land tax, scroll rack, tectonic reformation. Xancha's definitely going. And I think I want to go with the wheels. Well, the wheels go really well with. I think that goes really well with the other thing. Okay, maybe I don't cut this bit. I kind of like that. But alms collector goes if I'm gonna do the wheels. So, and that's okay. Where the fuck did that wheel go? Is it sticky? Is it sticky? That's gross. Swear to God, I fucking had one. Right? All right. Monologue tax is not terrible, but I do not have a Mangara the Diplomat available. But I can agree with that. I like Mangara. Where the hell did my Wheel of Fortune go? The shit. I had it here. So it'll probably be that. I like morbid. What did I do? All right. I'm just looking for Wheel of Fortune. Because Wheel of Fortune or Misfortune with the Smothering Tithe is crazy. And then it has the ability to just like fill up my hand. I don't know what happened to it. I don't know. I have no idea. All right. Maybe that's just something that I figure out off camera. So not going to worry about that. I think Xantcha goes away. Morbid Opportunist goes in at that point. I think that'll allow me to get a bunch of things. I still think I like those, and we can add in a Flarg probably ends up going after that. I wonder what my curve is doing, so that I kind of want to play Dark Confidant. I know that sounds ridiculous. All right, that probably doesn't work. We'll probably go Read the Bones at this point, or Dark Confidant, or Ragavan. Thrill and Faithless Looting, maybe. All right, Nahiri. I don't know what happened. Did I drop it? I do not know what happened to it. All right. All right. I think these, a lot of these are going to be like Twilight Prophet, Doom Whisperer, Mask. I still like maybe these two. Esper Sentinel's really, it's fucking crazy. Let's be honest. And that's one that I'll have off to the side, like if I still struggle on drawing cards. Mask, Doom Whisperer, Twilight Prophet, Nahiri. I don't think those make it. I think they're just maybe a little too expensive. So I'm fine with these three. Let's just go with like a Read the Bones. It probably digs the most at this point. I'll probably still have some like putzing around, which I'll do here. But let's start off with Read the Bones. Yeah, Read the Bones is pretty cool. It digs quite a bit. All right. Well, let's think about this again. I got a little bit of mutiny going on. Would people consider Ragavan something that would work instead of monologue tax? Because it gives you that treasure, gets you a little bit of card draw, kind of doing some stuff there. It's cheap. And then it can do some work. Like if I want to dash it a couple times, and then I can hold it into my hand if need be, and do it after I kill everybody's creature, and then it can start moving me forward again. And exile the top card of that player's library. Does that part suck? Probably. I don't really want to be stealing people's shit. But I haven't played with Ragavan yet. Let's do that. Monologue tax is not shit. That's aggressive. So there's a little bit of draw, a little bit of ramp. Probably neither. Probably. All right, let's look at the curve here. Let's see where we're at. That I owe you a signed Read the Bones. Oh, that's true. That is true. I did get that for Stump the Smith Savant. I somehow did. I don't know. All right, let's see here. 2, 3, 2. Are there any other cards that people like with land tax? I don't have many decks with it because it's not a very good card. I just didn't make a whole ton of decks with it. That's on me, whatever that means. 5, but I wouldn't mind going like full on that kind of stuff. That's those synergies. 2. That's a 6er. 5, 6, 3, 2, 2. Does anybody have a deck with Dark Confidant in it? I am curious. I just bought one and I don't know where to put it. I don't know if there's a place to put it. 1, 1, 3, 3s. And 4. All right. Top men. I'd say Dark Confidant is not for this deck, in my opinion. Although I am stacking it with top and I think I'd rather, if I find myself running out of cards, I'd rather add in the wheels just for that like smothering tithe action. Is there anything that just looks like it's not going to work? Sun Titan makes sense because I'm discarding a ton of stuff. Fine with that. Fine with that at this point. I'm still tinkering with the idea. All right. Catch up with chat. You've only seen, okay, so yeah, that makes sense. I mean, Dark Confidant probably goes in CEDH decks where you're just trying to get as many cards for as cheap as possible. Your life total hardly matters because everybody's going to be comboing, stuff like that. So that makes sense. That makes sense. I don't play that, but I still wouldn't mind finding a more casual area to play it. I don't hate any of this. Radiant Performer is still questionable. Yeah. We'll get rid of that. Solemn worth it? That might be a questionable. I think it's good, obviously, but is that just something that I would rather? I think I do need a shot. Well, yeah, Chandra's Ignition's pretty fucking good. Solemn. Think about that a little bit. All right. Yeah. No, Esper Sentinel is so crazy good, right? And then the question ends up being like, how many like hardcore staples, like high end staples am I putting in here to, I mean, that makes sense, right? That makes sense. I think like I want the deck to work and it has a lot of goofy shit going on in it, or just like underpowered cards or too expensive for what they're doing. Something like, just Dingus Staff is weird, Ankle Shanker's weird, Ronin Cliff Rider, Endbringer's a little weird. And that's just on my top end. Okay. I can be convinced of it. Kolaga's Command. I like that one in here. Just a lot of flexibility. Chaos Warp, Gift, Anguished Unmaking. Daxos can make a little army. It is kind of clunky. Is that something I want to care about? Is that something that matters? Hmm. I'm okay getting rid of Daxos. I'm okay with doing Daxos. Yeah, I think it's pretty clunky. Yeah. Okay. Drum Bellower, Toshiro. I like that. Samite Elder. I still want it in there. Map, Morbid, Phyrexian, Read the Bones. I don't hate any of those. Blade Brand. I'm okay with that. Blap. Default's Trickery. Yeah, I was just kind of, I remember being like half-ass desperate with that just because I needed more draw. Tectonic Reformation makes some sense. Treasure Map. Plarg? Does Plarg go? Kind of like the flex. Yeah. Kind of the cool thing with Plarg is the 5 tap reveal cards from the top of your library, cast something 3 or less. That's kind of a cool little deal. It kind of has a lot of little things, but that might be cuttable. Touch, Shadow Spear. The other thing too is if you guys think that there's anything that should be added in here that you're like, hey, you're for sure missing this, even though I don't have it, mention it, and I could probably turn around and quick grab it. Other than where the fuck is my? Swear to God, I saw it. Oop. All right. Anything that Bedevil, Nahiri. I want to find a place for Twilight Prophet too, but I don't think it's here. Let's go here. Alms Collector. I could go Alms Collector if I'm not doing the wheels. I'm okay with that. We'll put that in there. Fable of Mirror Breaker. Surly. No. Gadrak is probably just a little too late or a little too early. I don't know. Grim Hireling, Zagras, Spike, Depravity, Revel in Riches, non-artifact, non-land card from your hand. I'm okay with that. Deflecting Swat, Mila, Face Steed, Nahiri's Machinations, Selfless, Inferno Titan, Olivia, Varchild, Genesis Chamber, yep. Kalem. Vicious Shadows might still work. Might be willing just to like kind of end games a little bit. And I think maybe goes better in the wheels. So there's like, if I get some wheels going, let me see if I just can find a proxy of it. All right, let's see here. Do I have another one laying around? Yeah, wheel. All right. I don't know where that other one went, but I'll roll with it. All right. Did it get shuffled in here somehow? All right, whatever. All right, what am I missing here? All right. I don't think you're speeding up the deck too much since you are wanting a grindy game, but Esper gives you a nice, some great value. Yeah, I agree. So I think wheel Okay, I got the other wheel, so we'll cut Alms Collector. Wheel of Misfortune. How many wheels do you think, if you're wheeling, Smothering Tithe, kind of all those kind of thoughts, like where? Let's get that's probably a better replacement. How many is too many? Not enough. So I think maybe these two go over here. Oh no, that's where it fucking was. It was right under there. All right. Good. Good. So, okay, I think we'll hang on to these a little bit longer, but I think we're starting to narrow it down. All right, let's just put all these fucking fucks in here, right? I probably still like Plarg. It's kind of a cool card. Might stick that around because discarding probably isn't that big of a deal. I think the win condition part, I think, makes Shondo's Ignition just that much better, since that's something that I'm looking for rather than Radiant Performer. Even though Radiant Performer would be unique, cool. Solemn can go. Wheel is in. And then Daxos is out. I'll still keep Solemn around. And we'll get in the Wheel of Misfortune. I think that's where we're at. I think 2 or 3 of the sweet spot and wheels. People tend to get salty when you have to wheel a lot. Yeah. And like this red, white, black isn't necessarily the wheel color. You know, that's definitely a red, black, blue Nexusar style. So like it's not a wheel deck. And if I wheel too much, then the planar birth can really help some players too. I'm gonna put this into card types just to see, like, maybe I've just cut all of my creatures. I might not have any. And so we'll see. We'll see where I'm at. Not many instants, I don't think either at this point. Creatures, enchantment. So I don't know. And maybe I have a bit more for creatures than I anticipated or thought. So creature, man, I wish this could block. Artifact. Yeah, this being able to turn and be able to churn through some Smothering Tithe tokens seems like a cool idea, or just a good thing to be doing if needed. Instance artifacts, plenty of artifacts in here. Plenty of creatures. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. There's plenty. I mean, the question ends up being like, if I have too many, is Keeper of the Core going to be all right for me? I am killing off a lot of creatures, and so maybe this becomes like a dead card. I don't know if you guys remember this, but what's better in this situation, Solemn or Keeper of the Cord? I know. I think I go Keeper because I don't have a lot of. I'm always going to have the land, so I'm only probably just going to be like one behind. Maybe that's too expensive. 3, 4. Is this somewhere that like Plarg just does better? Or look at the top card of your library. controls more lands than you. You may play a land from the top of your library. It hardly matters. Keeper's sweet. But maybe we top end this. Just go with Vicious Shadows as a bit of a win con again. Still want to have Keeper around. Then I totally, yeah, you're probably right. Keeper might be better, but I totally just went off the board and going Vicious Shadows. Maybe trying to go over the top a little bit more. Fine distribution of what's going on. I don't dislike. Like, I think the wheels are good because, like I was saying, I run out of cards, or I was. And so maybe I've added enough draw in, but I mean, did I? The wheels will fill up my hand. That's what matters. Well, the next thing to do is test out the deck. This is going to be a little bit newer than normal. So I think for the main part, like the big changes are kind of done. And I'm gonna weave and just kind of go goldfish a little bit and see how the deck plays out. And so I know in the past I've gone through a couple of decks, or like I'd be done right now, but I want to just concentrate, figure out like, is this deck kind of working? Because that's what I was doing after I was done recording anyway. And so I might as well just do it here, as you know what I mean? As long as people are willing to watch or hang out, that's cool by me. And so I want to see how the deck goes, how it works. Is it too fast, too slow? Is it doing enough? That's the big thing, is like I want to be doing, I always like doing stuff. And so if I'm just sitting there doing nothing and like draw go, I hate that. That's not what I want to be doing at all. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. I believe I have like 37 land in here. I think that's what I counted. Normally I'd go like 38 in here. I don't know why I only have 37, but maybe I lost one of those too. All right. And so we'll just go through a couple things. We'll see. What did you think of the deck, Steven? Will look all right to you? Let's see here. Off to the side. 4, 5, 6, 7. So boom, boom. Not super thrilled by that, but okay. Draw, scry. That'll be a top. It's a Vista. Prismatic Vista. We'll crack that for Mountain, or maybe just a Swamp, just to be quick a little bit. You don't have to practice perfect, play perfect, and this is why I always screw up in games, because I don't. All right, let's Sensei's top and spin it. Yeah, probably that way. Do I have a setup for it? Not really, no. All right, probably draw, land into play. I probably fucked that up, not being a mountain. Treasure map. All right. It's turn 3. This is turn 4. And we'll probably want to Humble Defector into top. Oh, yeah, we'll do Dockside on top. Miss my land drop. All right. So we would probably go Well, actually, let's Humble Defector. That would go to somebody else. Draw 2. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'd have to discard, which probably Vicious Shadows. 3, tap, and we would hit them. That would die. Experience counter. And I'm getting fucked on lands. 1, 2, Arcane Signet. 1, 2, Dockside. There would be enough there at that point to probably do a Smothering Tithe, which doesn't make a whole ton of fucking sense. And probably hold up a Tybalt's Trickery. Attack for 3. Kill something maybe. There we go. 1, 2. We got the Stone Forge. So this one probably felt slow. I missed that land drop, which sucked. And so that's why I always like going 38. So why wouldn't you listen to yourself, Lowery? It's the best thing to do. Listen to yourself. Go with your rules. Let's start over. Got enough high-powered stuff in here that it should hum a little bit. You know. And that's one thing. Like one thing that I do a little bit is like if I'm doing something a little weird, a little out there, like I do try and add in more staples, but I just wasn't sure like Esper Sentinel was totally necessary. But I think at this point, it was probably the right call. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Vicious Shadows is killing me. We'll probably shuffle that back in. 1 landers are never fun. I'll take 2. 2 with some draw or ramp. So yeah, I agree. There might need to be more ramp in here. And that's a big problem with Mardu, right? It's not good in draw or ramp. And so it's kind of like lacking in both, unless you're going like artifacts and stuff like that. So let's see here. 1, 2, 5, 6, 7. I just need drawing consistent amount of land is pretty good. I go Tome. I go Mindstone. All right with this. All right. Tarn. And then say go. We'll get a shock or whatever. Whatever works first. Not a single fucking... Do I not have shocks in here? That might be a little weird. I don't think I have the shocks in here. What am I doing? I must have been stealing from this deck. I'll have to work on that for all. All right, we'll go Triome. I don't even know if I have duels in here. What the shit? All right, I'm actually going to have to take a real look at the lands here then. All right. Unsap. Land. So yeah, we'll go Mindstone, cycle Ash Barrens. We'll probably go get Plains. I'll go into hand. So that's your turn 2. I'm not sure if I like the Mindstone there either. That might turn into a different kind of ramp card. Might be Curse of Opulence. Let's go Curse for now. All right. 4. That's probably where I'll go Tome into Varchilds. Turn 4 is land. We'd go white, black. For Kelsien. 1, 2, Strionic. And then I can attack and attack, kill one of them. We got that. And there should be 3 tokens on that now. All right. Land for turn. I got probably wait one more turn for Massacre Worm if I have to or not. Yeah, 1, 2. I only have 2 black sources anyway. And so I would probably attack, ping. That'd be 2 into 3 because we would Strionic that. That would go up to 4. And then I'd probably draw a card. Very nice. Into Soul Ring. 1, 2, 3, 4. Boop, boop. Next turn. Ugh. Kind of stalling out. It'd be nice to get to the 3rd black. All right. Actionate that down. Draw a card. Land. There we go. And then we would Massacre Worm for sure. Black, black, black. 1, 2, 3. Massacre Worm would kill all the Varchild creatures. They would get a ton going on. I use that up. Then I'd attack and probably bada bing, bada boom. All right. We'll say and then we can Strionic actually. So I'd be going up to 5. And I'd go up to 3. And this is probably where. What is that? 5, 6, 7. I'd kill that, which I don't really want to do. Would I? I don't want to Chandra's Ignition into a wheel, so I might just bury the wheel. Just like reload everybody's hand. That feels silly. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We would. But why? Why not? Yeah. Okay. Chandra's Ignition. Kill everybody else's stuff. Probably Go to 4. That'd be 3. We will still. We'll draw a card, which would do that. Then we go 1, 2, 3. Need the bones. Scry those 2 to the bottom. Draw 2. This one felt better. Like this felt a bit grindier, a bit more control. Chandra's Ignition felt really good there, so I'm glad that we did that. I do think we take out Mind Stone, and I think we do Curse of Opulence. I think that's going to probably just make those heavy color bits a lot better. So I think that's a better call, a better play. Let's see here. Let's go through it probably one more time. I think the land is way off, but it's still doing okay. Definitely don't have any duels or shocks in here for some reason. I must have been running out or whatever, but I have a lot of proxies I need to make, and they'll fit in here quite nicely. Because I generally don't play pain lands just because you have shocks and duels. Why would you go anywhere else? 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. 2, 3, 4. I'm down. All right. We draw. 1. Vicious Shadows again. What the fuck? Basilisk Collar. Isolated Chapel into play. Let's see here. We'll go. Whoop. That is the wrong play. Battlefield Forge. Red. Take a life. Damage. Tectonic Reformation. All right. Probably go with the Chapel. 1, 2, 3. Kelsien. That's probably too early, but I can still attack. Normally kill something. So 3, 3. Yeah. Swamp. That's probably what I would do. Esper. 1, 2, 3. That's something I want to do. Not really. So 1, 2. Basilisk Collar. I'd attack, ping, and that goes up 1. And that is okay. Normally I would consider Esper Sentinel like 1. I'll draw 1 off of it. 1 normal. Sunbaked Canyon. Vicious Shadows is just too expensive again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll probably go Dingus Staff. 1, 2, 3, 4. Although tempting for the Humble Defector, but 5. I don't need the Ronin Cliff Rider, I don't think. Probably go Dingus Staff. Start hurrying that up a little bit. 3. Planes. All right. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Battlefield Forge will allow me to, well, I don't need the Endbringer in either. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Is that even what I wanted to do then? All right. So let's say I go Humble Defector into cycling the land. Will draw me a card. That's kind of nice. Tectonic Reformation is not very good unless I'm drawing like a shit ton of land. So this might just be better as like a Faithless Looting, probably, because I can shoot that off twice. I mean, it just makes more sense. It's less painful, less do nothing. I like Tectonic Reformation, but I end up cutting it way more than I ever thought I would. All right. Because that would have been better, turn 1 or whatever. So we'll say that's what we're doing. And we'll start over one more time. Vicious Shadows is killing me. It's killing me, Smalls. It's just too expensive. It's just too expensive for what the deck is able to handle, because I'm not not having enough ramp at this point, like you were saying, Steven. Let's see here. Is there anything that I'm just like, yes, that would work quite well? I think Radiant Performer. I mean, that would have killed everything. Excuse me. Verge Rangers is nice. It's like a 3/3 first strike, sits back. I think Keeper of the Accord would be doing some really good work for me right now. So let's get that Vicious Shadows back out of there. I don't think. Yeah, I think as long as we don't think we're going to go over the top or something super expensive, like, a Vicious Shadows, I think Cruel or Ruinous Ultimatum is solid, but like, I think it's still going to be hard to get there. Vicious Shadows. Woof. So I think that makes sense to me. Can't really go over the top if you're just not even if you're struggling in that mid game. That's kind of where Keeper comes in and studifies. All right. Because I'm not getting a lot of creatures, and so Keeper's going to be really nice there, even though like Dingus Staff would hurt me or whatever. That's fine. I think that's semi-acceptable. I have a couple of spots of life gain, Basilisk Caller, the Staff, and Heliod's Intervention. So not a ton, but there's something there. Like if I'm falling too far behind, but it's just Dingus Staff at this point. And I'm, controlling the amount of creatures that are coming at me, hopefully. Okay. Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. That's probably a keep. It's fine at this point. I wish I had like a black source, but Big Canyon, Humble Defector. Oof. That might be. We'll wait on the Humble Defector. Draw. We will draw the 2. Still put the white source down, but we'll kill Humble. Bring back Goblin. What would I do here? Don't have a black source. Probably running Semite Elder. All right. I'll give it another like 10 minutes of just like dinking around with the deck, and then we'll call it a night. All right. Boom. A red source. I need a black source, motherfuckers. All right. Right, a Rising Storm. That'll start moving the game. It's another one. A little Generous Gift. So they have a 3/3. And it probably would be like Ragavanning a little bit, right? Land, no black source, and I am just stuck. No stores. Okay, let's Sunbaked, draw a card. Hey, that'll get me there. Smothering Tithe. So let's just say 1 there. We'll do maybe, let's just say 2 for shits and giggles. Anguished Unmaking, Slaughter Specialist. Everybody gets a counter, creature. Next turn, hey, land tax. See, it only comes up when you don't need it. land tax, we'll say red, white, black, plague, kill something. That's bigger. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so this could be the fun part of Samite Elder. Tap, my creatures gain protection from red, black, and white. Chandra's Ignition. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All my creatures survive. I don't know how big. Kelsien is pretty small at this point. It doesn't even matter, right? So it's probably that one. Oh no, a Rite of Raging Storm. So it's 5 to everything. Okay. All right. I don't hate it. The land feels funky, like I was saying. I'll probably cut it, get it back up to like 38, where I would be comfortable with it. I said I'd go 10 more minutes, didn't I? All right. Let's feel it out a little bit more. Yeah, I definitely need to work on the mana base because it's not fun just getting stuck with cards in your hand because you don't have the color. They're cheap cards, just didn't have the color. Felt like I was drawing enough, just bare minimum drawing enough cards. So like there's enough maybe sources going on. But a wheel. We'll see. We'll see. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's see here. Land 2, 3, 4, 5. Ugh. That's probably all right. All right, draw. That's a turn, right? All right, Sunbaked Canyon into Esper Sentinel. We'll say that draws me a card. Draws me a card. We'll say what? Take 2 damage. We'll look at top. Do I have any discarding? I guess that. One, 2 for the Swiftfoot Boots. I have plenty. We'll give you a creature, land tax. I would not search because I want the Planar Rebirth. And I also want what's there down below. 1, 2, 3. Scroll Rack. And then we'll say 1 to do 2. Yeah, so wheel makes sense to me. Oh, maybe that wasn't going to make sense. That'll trigger. Feel the power of land tax right there. White, red. So, and this is where Scroll Rack starts coming into play. And if I had the Tectonic Reformation, that would start getting pretty nice and crazy a bit. So we will put down that. We'll say 1 and 2 for the Arcane Signet. 1, 2, 3. I shuffle Kelsien in there. And the last one. That doesn't help. Just losing shit left and right. There it is. Right at top. All right. So we paid the 3. And Swiftfoot boots it to protect it. And we'll probably probably trigger that again. One. Isn't this just annoying to be doing this with land tax? Just going and searching? That sucks. I will tectonic your reformation anytime you want, AJ.
I don't want relationship, I just want bang bang bang. I don't want to know your name, I just want bang bang bang.
Sorry, I was missing all this, Steven. I like the ultimatum just because I'm not going to play it in a lot of other decks. And it does hit. Let's kind of walk through and go through it. It's just like a coverall. It gets everything. Let's see here. Because I don't really care at this point. We're down to whenever we kind of get done talking about this. Grook's Wake is what, 9? 9 to cast? And so it's not as mana dependent. So I'm looking for Ignition and Ruinous Ultimatum. And so let's see here. Let's think about it. Destroy all non-land permanents your opponents control. I mean, this just hits everything. I think it's pretty sweet. I think I like it. Ingaruk's Wake probably could go in here too. But here's the thing is like this can hit, enchantments, artifacts, planeswalkers, and Ingaruk's Wake is only hitting creatures if I'm remembering right. And by that time, I should have control of the board with Kelsien, which hasn't shown in my goldfishing here, I will admit. But that's the goal, right? And so it might be a decent backup, but then I should be putting in like Archfiend of Depravity. I think that's a little bit of what the Chandra's Ignition is doing. Target creature you control deals damage to equal to its power to each other creature and each opponent. So it hits your own creatures, just doesn't hit you, and then it hits your opponents as well. So so it does get your creatures. That's what I was thinking happened. So creatures and planeswalkers. Okay, for Ingaruk's Wake. I still don't think again, I think Kelsien should be controlling the board, hopefully, at that point. And if it's not, the deck just isn't really working because Kelsien's supposed to be decently big sized, and if he's not going to be winning the game. Kelsien needs to add those experience counters on, or else it's kind of just trouble, and that's a little bit, it's a bit of a Voltron deck. It's get Death Touch on Kelsien or a Pinger and control the board and try and win from there. So it's kind of narrow. It's one of my more narrow decks, I would say, just because there's so much work going into the Death Touch part. So coming up on probably a minute or two left. Any other comments? My wife tells me I should be decently big sized. Disappointment. Probably not enough ways to protect my commander, right? There's a Samite Elder, there's Swiftfoot Boots, and there's now Tibalt's Trickery. I had an Indestructible Way beforehand. I have a little bit of Recursion. Let's see here. And so maybe what we need to do is actually cut the giving them creatures idea. So how many would that actually deal with? Is that even worth it? It's kind of adding some cool cards in. But is that doing enough? I think Rite of Passage, that still works. But anything that's semi-questionable for the giving them creatures part probably just isn't worth it. And that allows me to add a land. That allows me to let's see here. How many are there? Clackbridge Troll. So much of it is going into. I don't know if I like Ragavan. I don't know if I like Ragavan. I still need to get used to the idea of it being like an $80 card. Like Esper Sentinel makes a ton of sense to me. It's goddamn good. So right there, we're looking at this. We can turn it into land, and then we can do, you know, draw, ramp, one more piece of protection. I actually just cut it, AJ. I had it in here, Kalem. And the problem is I got too much for the, like, it's either I have a ton of experience counters or just like 1, 2, 3. And all Kalem is just like a big creature. It's not really on theme other than the experience counters. I got rid of Daxos in here as well because it was just like I was short on ramp and drawing. So I think that's something that we got to do. All right. Leading Voltron, you may need more things to protect. That is true. Gift of Immortality, stuff like that. You also give him Death Touch. You need to give opponents the creatures to kill. Yeah, I agree. I think, all right, well, I think we just added some time on, right? Let's see here. What can go in here? Verge Ragers isn't really ramp. I think we go maybe a Solemn. Let's see here. I still don't dislike Plarg, but Thrill of Possibilities probably. Probably put Plarg in there. I'm kind of cool with Plarg. So that's a ramp. That's a draw. Might go with Core Cartographer here. And so draw, ramp. I'm not coming out super quick, but maybe we do that. Maybe we do that. That probably makes more sense. So, and then my draw card would be Thrill. Let's go through that stack. Slumber Party. All right, let's see if I should be adding in. No, we'll get rid of that. Protection card. Mahiri, Twilight Prophet is kind of cool. But I've really lowered my Fable, Wayfair, Burly Badgesaur, Gadrak. What do you think about Gadrak over like Solemn? Grim Hireling. Yeah, I don't have enough creatures for that. Like Brigid, Archfiend, Revel, Chromox, Deflect, and Swat. I think we probably want to try and fit that back in there. Mila, Faye, Hiri, Inferno, Kalidas, Haunted, Kalem, see, Gorgon. This can get me drawn. Well, 2. No. All right. So I got like 2 here. That's a nice. It is that protection spell. Yeah, that's kind of my thought is like those treasure tokens. It's still kind of in. I'm making treasures. Kind of like the idea of Gadrak going in there. And I think I do need a protection spell. I think you're right. I think we do Sword of the Animist, Gadrak for my ramp. I think we do Deflecting Swat as another protection spell, and then Plarg or Thrill of Possibility, which I think Thrill is probably just needed more, just like that little bit of a burst. Or hold on, should I be getting like Night's Whisper in there? Probably. Well, I don't have a lot. I got it. I think I had an idea, but then I cut the idea. What do you guys think about Painful Truths in here? That could potentially allow me to, draw 3 cards. And I'm not discarding anything. I'm looking at more cards, and it could still just be like 2 and 2. Hopefully not 1. It's probably going to be 2 or 3 versus Thrill of Possibilities. I don't hate that idea. What do you guys think? Switch these in. Deflecting Swat goes in. We'll do you know what? I probably have Proxy. So that in there, that in there. Let's get Gadrak. I really like Gadrak though. Like as just a card. It's pretty sweet. I have it in my Naeth like fighting deck as well. Probably could fit in Rian with all the sacrificing and stuff like that as well. All right. I think Solemn's just kind of cut at this point. I think we're looking for like a little burst of cards. I just don't think I like. I don't think I like Ragavan at this point. Maybe just not in this deck or whatever. Let's see here. We can get rid of that. That'll be opinions on Thrill of Possibility versus Painful Truths. I'm going to go through and just count my land though. 1, 3, 4, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. 20, 21, 22, 23, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 35, 36, 37, 38. No, I have 38. Okay. I have 38. That's not super helpful then. Let's see here. Ragavan might just stay in. Could be a little bit later. Let's see here. I think I want to try Painful Truths. 2 or 3 at 3 mana. Not awful, not amazing. I'm going to have to, like I said, going to have to definitely mess around with the mana base here. Yeah, it's a sweet card. Yeah, Steven is also agreeing Ragavan does not fit this deck. What is something, because I cut some cards beforehand before I even showed them, but let's maybe go through this one more time. I do like Clackenbridge Troll, but being able to tap it is kind of brutal. It's card advantage as well. I don't know why I like Plarg. I don't know. Is there anything that can untap him in the deck? Yeah, kinda. He's not bad. I got Drum Bellower, and then I have the let's do Pirate Monkey. All right. Let's cut Ragavan. Let's play through it like one more time after this, even though we went extra 10 minutes beyond what I thought I would. All right, let's find Ragavan. There it is. Keep that in the sleeve. All right, let's shuffle this up a bit. Let's see where it goes. I appreciate all of the time that you've spent with me. I hope if you're watching this not live, I hope you're watching it on like 1.5 speed. So, but I think, sort of Hearth and Home might be all right in here too, but I don't think I don't have a lot of ETBs. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And not a fucking land. All right. That's not a good start. I don't know why. I'm not going to do more than 38. Shit. Just need to be able to get good by drawing lands. Is that what I should be thinking? All right. All right. Let's try this again. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 2. All right. Temple. We will. I got a generous gift, so we'll bottom that. There we go. Caves. We'll do Plarg. Prismatic. We need probably something. Well, we'll go black. Then we boop, boop. It's 1, 1, 2, 3. Treasure map. Scry. Oh, that's hard to give up. But I don't need to use him. I guess this is 1. All right, we'll draw that. Marsh Flats. Just going through. Probably should have been the Triome, but it's the only fetchable non-basic, which is weird. So we would probably go 1 for the Soul Ring. Basilisk Collar. Top. And we'll probably generous gift. That's something we would do. Maybe not. 2, 3. Maybe just hold it up, but then we can top. I want to draw that. And then we'll scry that away. We'll just dig again because I can. All right. 3. All right. So I can go 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Kelsien, equip to Basilisk Collar into three. That'll flip. That'll untap, actually. Actually, kind of like that. I should have. It's intervention. And so we would 2. Eat that. And then top. 2, 3. Ooh. Ooh. All right. Drum Bellower, which is sweet. We'll actually go with 1, 2, 3. Drum Bellower. We will eat to get a land tax into play, which I'm very happy about. Land tax. 3 untapped. I'll probably go generous gift. Then we'll probably just start kill, discard to tap, and then untap them. We'll probably discard to draw, kill, untap them. I like both those cards, and so we'll just kill. Vorpal Sword. Creatures your opponents control get -2/-2. All right. So we would probably Massacre Worm. Let's make sure we have that. Black. 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 1, 2, 3. So a bunch of stuff dies. Don't really need Vorpal Sword, but we would. Oh, forgot the land tax. God damn that card. It's all right. It's all right. But I didn't do a whole ton of changes, but that one felt decent going around. But just getting rid of those, like giving them creatures thing, probably not necessary. So you have it for so long, you kind of like the idea, you want to run with it. So, I think I'm all right with that. I think we did some really good changes today. I appreciate everybody. If you have some opinions in the comments, throw them down there. Again, check out CommanderSmiths podcast or any of our other videos. We put out multiple a week, shorts, or whatever. I had a lot of fun. Appreciate you. And all right. Bye.